Boom. So today I'm going to build the entire 309 card at MSG in November. So before I did the 306 one, the Sphere card, which is actually in a few weeks from now. And if you go check it out right now, you can see that video is aging really well since the Sphere card stinks. Only 3 good fights on the card and 2 like decent ones, but it's not high stakes, so I'm not too invested, you know what I mean? But my card was so much better, and it was 13 fights. They've got 10 fights on the Sphere, like dead card. But I'm gonna do 309 today, MSG, and I clocked when they do MSG cards, it's not always totally stacked. It's just a few good fights. Then the rest of it is kind of mid. I'll be honest. Like, let's think of the last couple. 295, right? Insane main and co-main. Yuri, Alex, Aspinall, Pavlovich. Then next we had Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Like, that's an insane switch. Going from Jessica Andrade versus Dern to Aspinall versus Pavlovich. That's about it. 281 was pretty good, to be fair. You had Alex, Izzy, then women's co-main, Poirier Chandler. Then that was about it as well. But I'm going to do a stacked one, top to bottom. But it's not going to be unreasonable where you have, I don't know, Gaethje on the prelims or the early prelims. So let's get into it though. It'll be good. We'll see. First fight of the early prelims. First fight of the entire night. Kong Wang versus Casey O'Neill. Right. So in my last video, I said that this fight should probably be next, and I think MSG seems like a reasonable timeline to do it. Casey, they just fought back-to-back events, 305, then to Cannonier Baralho fight night, which was a week apart from each other, and what is it? August to November. That's what, like 4 months. I don't even know. Yeah, make this fight early. I would actually tune into this. It'll probably be like 11 p.m. for me. I'll wake up for this. Like, stay awake for this. Great fight, especially for early prelims though. But I don't know. The UFC do weird bout ordering. I would not be surprised if this is like opening the main card or co-main event. So keep on the early prelims, please. Like, no one really is really gonna know these people, but it's a good fight nonetheless. Next, Joshua Van versus Cody Durden. Now, like, this is a good fight. I've clocked that Cody Durden always fights on these type of cards, on the pretty big cards like 296, December cards, T-Mobile Arena. And yeah, both guys come with losses, Joshua Van, Cody Durden. I think this fight makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Joshua Van will probably get a bunch of respect and fans. He's a young gun, great fighter, but he's like 18, 19 years old. That's actually like impressive, so fair play to him. I think it makes sense as well. Cody Durden, maybe 2 fight loss streak. Joshua Van just got killed by Charles Johnson. Makes sense, like, maybe don't want to give either guy coming someone off wins. They're not really ranked too high or done too much in the division yet. So do this fight. They got similar scheduling, so I think this fight makes sense for November. They called each other out as well, so yeah, might as well do this. Why not? It's a good fight. Next up on early prelims, Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate rematch. To be honest, like, I don't really bother seeing this fight, but it's just the type of fight I see them doing on this card. Like, MSG is the type of card where you see massive names, even if they're not necessarily in their peak or their prime yet still, or have been in it for a long time. Like, they're both big names, but I couldn't care less about this fight. If they do make this fight for this card though, I'm not the only one who could just see this being like the featured fight of the entire card, or the main card. That would like never mind. Please put this on the early prelims. Holly Holm versus Miesha Tate. Holly Holm looks horrible, like no fight IQ. Yeah, just do this on the early prelims. People don't really care about this fight, but it's big names, and you gotta get your women's fights in. Can't just have it predominantly male all the time. So I see why they do it, I guess. Next, last early prelims of the night, Danny Barlow versus Basil Hafez. This is a sick fight, actually. Similar scheduling also. Basil Hafez came off a banger fight with, who did he fight? Mickey Gao at 302. 302 to 309 is good scheduling. Barlow fought recently, coming off a decision win against, I can't remember, to be honest, but some new gun. But I think this fight makes sense. Both coming off wins. Either guy gets a spectacular finish or win here, they could look at ranked opponents or maybe one more just before that. So I think this is like a perfect. I think these guys are both in similar positions. You know, Vasyl Hafez lost to JDM in a close fight, so you know what I mean. This guy hasn't lost much stock for that loss, and he won recently in a good fight. So entertaining fight as well. So yeah, I think this makes sense. Barlow Hafez, and as you can see, I'm kind of doing a mix of different divisions. I'm gonna try to do that throughout the whole card, so we don't just get one division the whole time. Yeah, but let me just say this. I'm just putting the fights in. I don't think the bout ordering will be like this. I'm sure it won't. But I just hope to see fights of this caliber throughout the whole night. So, yeah. Next up on the first prelim of the night, Ishmael Bonfim vs Drew Dober. I'm thinking this might maybe be a bit soon for Drew Dober, but if he can, sure. But if he can't make it, keep Ishmael Bonfim on his card against whoever. But I think Ishmael Bonfim is the perfect opponent for Drew Dober. Drew Dober's perfect opponent for Bonfim. Bonfim was a highly regarded prospect at the time, lost to Benoit, but got a win since, and Dober's coming off a loss, so it makes sense. Give Dober a prospect coming off a win rather than another vet who's coming off a loss. I think that makes more sense for Dober since he's established himself as someone who's been great throughout his career. He's had good wins, fought the best of the best, so I think it makes sense for Dober to fight a prospect like this. If Ishmael Bonfim can't get past him, then maybe he's not going to be cream of the crop. If he can, then you know what I mean, he has potential to be really good. So perfect test for this guy. It's an entertaining fight as well. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's too soon for Dober. He got beat up recently, cut and stuff. Was it him who got? Yeah, it was him who got cut. So nasty cut on his eyebrow or something, spinning elbow. So I'd love to see this fight. Yo, look at this card so far, man. Like, if what the UFC would do though, throughout these 5 fights, there'll be fights that aren't worth tuning in at all. Like, we won't even know who's fighting, or nor would there be a good fight. So, but look at mine. You know what I mean? All these fights are really good. Regardless, next early prelim. I actually don't know what's next. Oh, Krylov vs Mirzakhanov. Fun fact: I was the one who found out about this fight. Right. Real Kevin K guy on Instagram, he's currently getting flamed right now for apparently fake leaking Charles vs Volk, but yeah, this guy said that he revealed that Krylov has fight and he's coming up in November. He's got a fight in November coming up. Then I swear down, I went on Instagram and did my research. I was like, who could Krylov be fighting right now? What makes sense for him? Probably not someone near the top of the rankings. He hasn't fought in a year, more than a year. Maybe someone like a pretty low ranked but coming off a good win, maybe Carlos Olberg, maybe Mirzakhanov. So what I did, I checked Mirzakhanov's Instagram. I went on his story, then I flipped through his stories. Then I saw he took a photo of the MSG arena, then said "see you soon." Insane detective skills right there. Like, yeah, I think it does make sense. It's a sick fight as well. And I sent the reply under Kevin K's tweet, then he reposted it, so good share. They gave me a little shout out, so yeah, it's a sick fight as well. I'm sure it won't be on the prelims though, but you know, I'm building a stacked enough card where it will be on the prelims. Let's see what's next. Next on the prelims, Talbot vs Yanez. Sick fight. I think Talbot is in a position where he should be fighting on a sick card with a big spotlight. You know what I mean? This guy, like, even when he only had coming off 2 fights, when he fought at 303, he was getting crouches, and he was on like the 5th fight of the night, and he was getting crouches. So put him on a bit of a higher spotlight against a decent name. Talbot Yanez, sick fight. Yeah, I thought this should be on 306 to be honest, because I think Yanez is kind of Mexican, or got some Mexican descent or something, but clearly they don't want to do that, and they want to have Ode Osborne on the main card. But you might as well put this on MSG. I actually would not mind if this is on the main card. Sick fight, pretty high stakes, and you know what I mean, like, Talbot is a pretty big name at this point, even though he's only had 3 fights, but people are interested by him, one of the biggest prospects right now. So I honestly wouldn't mind if this opens the main card or something, but on my prelims. Next, I can't remember what else I put on this card, to be honest, so this is all news to me right now. Yeah, Mitchell vs Landwehr, right? Very, very similar people, I made a video a long time ago saying this fight should happen next. Mitchell last fought December, so pretty much taking a year break off here after that brutal KO. So I think this makes sense. It's a good break for him. Nate Landwehr fought in March, so March to November is a pretty long break as well, so might as well do it now. Yeah, and you know what I mean, you want to get the crowd hyped early on, but just before the main card, these guys will certainly do that, especially if Nate Landwehr wins or even Bryce Mitchell wins. They'll give a banging post-fight interview, they'll get the crowd hyped, even if the crowd are there, hopefully, because these spoiled T-Mobile and MSG fans, they only come for like the main card when the big fights start. So yeah, who knows? This is what I'll do. Get them hyped. Sick fight as well. Landwehr fighting a ranked opponent. I think Mitchell should fight someone outside the ranking, so good invitation for Landwehr, so makes sense. Opening the main card now. Dariush vs Pimlet. Now, there were so many different possibility fights I could have had for these guys. I think Dariush should be fighting on this card. He's like a nice guy, ranks pretty high. He said he would fight in November, December, so let him fight MSG, and he's ranked high. I was thinking either Dariush Fiziev, Pimlet Fiziev, Dariush Fiziev, Pimlet Dariush, all of these fights, but I think this one makes the most sense. Dariush Fiziev, like, they're both ranked right next to each other. I don't think that makes sense. I think they should be fighting guys either down the rankings or, you know what I mean, I don't think it makes sense. So I think either Dariush versus Pimlet or Fiziev versus Pimlet. Dariush has taken a long break already, and Pimlet took no damage in his last fight pretty recently. So yeah, make this fight makes a lot of sense. I think Pimlet should get a decent shot at the rankings after a great win over Bobby Green. So yeah, this is another crowd hyper fight as well, because Pimlet brings the energy. He resonates with the fans. You know what I mean? He pushes his arms up in the air like, come on, where's your energy? Where's your energy? Like, Dariush is a nice guy, so I can see this being a high fight, pretty high stakes. So yeah. Next fight on the main card though, Blachowicz vs Oberg. Now, I think this is a Blachowicz fight card for sure. I think he will fight here. He's a big name. He's just come back from a long break. So there were so many different opponents he could have fought though. Who were the main options, right? So he had Yuri Hill, Oberg, I think, is one of them as well. And that's about it. He could fight any of these guys, but I don't know. I think Blachowicz vs Yuri is kind of just, two top guys at the top of the division coming off losses fighting each other. Then, one of them loses, then they're out of the picture for a very long time. So I think it just makes sense, man. Every time, you have a top guy coming off a loss, just have him fight a prospect. I think it makes the most sense. And, if he fights Hill as well, or Yuri, like, if they beat Blachowicz, right, that sort of warrants another title shot for them, but beating Blachowicz. But, are they really going to get another title shot? Pereira vs Prohaska 3 after he got KO'd twice. Pereira vs Hill 2 after he got KO'd in, 3 minutes? I don't think it makes much sense. If Oberg wins, this gets new blood in the division. If Blachowicz wins, like, he could even get a title shot given his first fight with Pereira was mad close, or he could be one fight away, or fight for an interim or something like that. I don't know. He went to draw with Ankalaev as well, so who knows, like, something. I think this makes the most sense, and I think it's the best stylistic fight as well. This is a sick fight stylistically, so I think it makes the most sense. Yeah, I think this makes the most sense. Next fight on the main card, Usman vs JDM. I think this is a no-brainer for this card. I don't think there's another opponent for Usman that makes more sense. Maybe Gary, but I don't think so. Usman vs JDM. When you think of this fight, it just screams MSG, right? Or maybe December, but I think it suits MSG more. Usman's a massive name. He's legend. JDM's a new up-and-coming gun. Big name as well. Just KO'd Burns, so people are going to be aware of that. I think it's a sick fight as well. JDM wins, he gets a title shot for sure. Then in the meantime, you do Edwards vs Gary. If Edwards wins, the winner's next, I think. I think the winner's next. Usman vs JDM, then if Usman wins, he doesn't really get a title shot though. JDM does. Yeah, sick fight. This is a really good stylistic fight. I have no idea who I'd pick. I'm probably edge JDM. But yeah, sick fight though, nonetheless. Cool. Co-main event on the card. Pantoja vs Asakura. This is so difficult to come up with a co-main event, but I think when you think of MSG, right, they want to make it sound like the best card, one of the best cards of the year, because they go once a year, it's one of the biggest arenas in the world, right? So I think the name two title fights just comes out straight away. It speaks for itself, right? And I think the best way to do it is Pantoja. I don't understand the verdict that this guy's boring. His fights are really fun to me. I don't know what you guys are watching, but I really enjoy his fights. Maybe the Roy Val one wasn't as entertaining, but his others, Moreno was an amazing fight. I thought Usyk one was an amazing fight as well, but I don't know. Just because he's grappling heavy, I guess. And his opponent, Asakura, I guess, I have no idea who he's fighting on his first fight. I don't know if it's going to be a straight title shot, but if it's not a straight title shot, who's he going to fight? You know what I mean? He's just going to wait for the winner of Tyra versus Royval, but that's going to be too short of a turnaround for them. October to November, right? I don't think it makes sense, so there's no one else really. Unless they do Albazi, but Albazi's been out for how long? A year, more than a year now, so it's hard. I don't mind if it's Albazi, to be honest. Albazi versus Pantoja versus Asakura, I don't mind, but whoever it is, have Pantoja as the co-main event. Then yeah, the main event, Jones versus Stipe. This is my 309 card, though. Let me know what you think, if there's any fights I maybe missed out, or how I could have made it a bit better, I guess. Let me know down below, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.